How about now? Can you guys hear me now? The mic button is moving. I mean, the sound bar on the mic is moving, so. You can hear me now? Okay, cool. They've gone and reconfigured OBS. Sorry, I have a giant piece of gum in my mouth. They went and reconfigured it. It's really weird. Now, I just updated it, and then I went to go use it because I like the screen better for charming because it puts the whole charm board further up in the screen. Let me let the dogs in. Hold on. Come on. You guys want to come in? Come on. Hi. What's Simon? You coming too? Come on, baby girl. Come on, get out of the way of the door. I gotta shut the door so we can film. You guys get comfortable. Okay. So they reconfigured OBS, so it's a little bit weird. I'm not shaven. I've been out all day, but I decided I wanted chewing gum. I don't know why. So the screen is really small now of what I see. Thank you, Ann English. Thank you very much. Ann English, I'm doing only charmings on Sunday nights. So if you want to purchase a charming for $25, you certainly can. I'm not doing card pulls tonight. It's just for charmings. I sign on Sunday nights just so that people who want to purchase a charming from me can, or if anybody from my Patreon page decides to come in, those that subscribe to the highest level get a free charming every month, or a charming every month. It's not technically free because they're subscribing, so they pay for the charming essentially through their subscription. It's a bonus for being a subscriber. So yeah, so they've gone and they've reconfigured OBS, which is kind of weird. I have a window open down below that I don't know how to close, and my window is really small now, and I don't know how to reconfigure it or change it back. So I don't know. I'm gonna just try and live with it. And the mic is being weird, and the last time I used OBS was when I did the last charming, and something went wrong with my mics for the following day's forecast, so I'm gonna have to double check that tonight before closing everything out to make sure that I'm using the right mic when I go to film tomorrow's forecast, or else we're gonna have a forecast with no sound again, like we did on, I want to say on the 15th. Yeah, which was like a Tuesday's video, which would have been filmed on a Monday, which would have been right after the charming. So something's been weird with the drivers on my computer and my mics or something. I'm not sure. Hey, Christina Davis Buffkin, how are you? Hey, Tia, how are you? Oh, you're welcome, Stephen. Oh, I was going to mention that too. I meant to put up a video in the group. You guys, as far as for the sitters for mediumship, I'm going to need a bunch of them over a long period of time for like the next 2 years. So I will do my best to try and include everybody as best I can. Please don't give me any information about specifics of who you want to come through, though. That's the other thing. I'm sorry that you lost your son. That's horrible, Stephen. But and that doesn't necessarily negate that I won't try. But I don't want to know who we're looking for, kind of thing. Ideally, just for future for anybody else that's watching. Hey, Dorothy Baxter, how are you, dear? I'm good, Tia. Thank you. Thank you, Christina. I'm good too. Hey, Karen Jones, how are you? So, what have you guys been up to? Are you guys ready for the holiday? Has anybody been watching the forecast this week's? Little gross. Oh, thank you, Dorothy. That's right, the 23rd. I have to not forget that. Yeah, this today's forecast for this week, it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a weird week for people, but it may just be for the people that watch regularly. I don't know. It's just sort of the cards that came up, and then I filmed tomorrow's this morning, and there was cards that sort of reiterated the fact that this is a bit of a like a I don't know. It just feels like a week where we're digging up the crud to get rid of it before the end of the year. That's good, Dorothy. I'm glad you're doing good. Sorry to be chewing gum. It's kind of rude and sort of like ratchet, but just I'm enjoying it. I haven't had gum in a long time. I'm good, Karen Jones. Thank you for asking. So if anybody's interested in purchasing a charming, tonight is charm night. So I will stay on for a minute and see if anybody's interested. If not, I'm going to sign off in a minute because I do have a house guest, but I wanted to make sure to get every Sunday come on so that people could get the option, and also so that the Patreon subscribers get the option to pick up their free charming or their charming for the month. Hey, Jessica Tate, how are you? Oh, thank you. It was on point. Awesome. I love it. I love to hear that. Thank you. This gum is like, I mean, do you want to see how disgusting this gum is? So, so gross. I am such a pig. The reason why it's so big, I'll explain to you why. We went to Five Below yesterday because there's this, I saw these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, these dolls, the like action figures at Five Below, like, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And I saw them and I immediately thought of my brother because he loves them. And I didn't think to buy them right away, right? I thought, oh, I'll come back and get them another time. So I went back there like a few days ago to the Five Below. And I've never really been in a Five Below. It's like just like sort of a kid's store with lots of candy and things like that. And I went in there to look for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they didn't have them at the store where I saw them. So I was like, shit, I should have got them when I saw them. This was back in like early November or something. And so I went, there's a bunch of them around here. So I went to a few different ones, and we went to one yesterday. And they make you weave through this line of like, as you're going to check out, because I got him these little wrestler things instead, because he likes wrestling too. And as you're walking through the weaving aisle to get to the cash registers, there's all this candy on the shelves. And so they had these bags of that gum, Big League Chew. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it was like something that I used to have when I was a kid. And it made me think of my childhood. And it was like this pouch of shredded gum that was like, me and my friend who's staying with me right now, we were laughing because we were like, remember growing up on the candies we grew up on? They were so wrong. We had like candy cigarettes and, dipping tobacco gum. And so I was like, let's get some. So we got it. We got it, and I just put some in my mouth when I got home. Wheezy Jefferson, exactly. Oh, Tina, you know it. I've never been into them. Hey, Aaron Lee, how are you? So it's kind of a little obnoxious, but I thought so. I was kind of an obnoxious child, I guess. You loved Big League Chew? Yeah, this is Slammin' Strawberry. Oh, somebody just sent me general for me and two others. Your choice. Okay. So let's do. Hold on. Thank you for the purchase, Laura. I see you sent over cash. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, Laura, how are you? Laura, I'm going to, because you paid for the readings, I'm going to let you choose because I think it's better if you choose, only because I don't want to piss anybody off. Because inevitably somebody will get upset. It's hard to say who gets to pick. And since you paid for them, you should get the choice of who you want to pick, I think. What was I going to say? Let me take this out of my mouth. This is really kind of gross. It's so big. That's what she said. All right, hold on one second. Let me go spit this out. I just want to come back and share this with you. This is the fun part of bubblegum. Okay. All right, I'm back. That was a really good bubble. I blew that as I was walking out of the room into the kitchen to spit out the gum, and I was like, "Oh, I want to show them how," because you can get them as big as your face. It's awesome. All right, so excuse me. Oh, now I'm gonna burp. Talk about obnoxious. I love how Lisa rolls in and she's like, "I can see and hear you." Like, Lisa, honey, that was like ages ago. All right, Alana gets a reading. Awesome, Laura. Thank you for picking Alana. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, Priscilla, how are you, dear? Yes, exactly. That is what she said. Yeah, total burping. I know. Well, what can you do? You can't all be winners. They can't all be winners. All right. And then, so we've got Laura, Ilana. I know, Christina, you can get some good bubbles with that Big League Chew stuff. It's good stuff. I love it. I love it a lot. So, did you pick? It's been beautiful today. Andrew was asking, how's the weather? It was nice. It was sunny. I was actually out in just like a t-shirt and jeans. It was really nice. He does chew it for baseball. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. And so when we saw it in the store the other day, I was like, oh my God, I want a pack because I just haven't had it in ages. And we were laughing about like what sort of rancid kind of toys and like candies and stuff. Like we had Garbage Pail Kids and candy cigarettes and all of this sort of like atrocious stuff as kids that they don't have anymore. It's like totally un-PC to have it. So we were surprised to see it there in the store. It's freezing in the UK, Karen. No bueno. Hey, Judy Cologne, how are you? They sell it at every tournament. How funny. Snowing in Boston, Andrew says. How lovely. Lovely. Hey, Jenny Burns, how are you? So, Laura, have you picked the other recipient or is it just you and Alana at this time? Because I can get started with you if you want. Or with Alana, whichever you prefer to go first. You got to tell me, Miss Laura. And thank you for purchasing the Charmings. I appreciate it. Not yet. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it while I was up from the computer. I'm good, Jenny. Thank you for asking. Thank you for sharing, Lisa, over on YouTube. All right, Laura first. Okay, so do you know what you want me to charm on, Laura? Like a subject matter? I'm going to switch cameras. Let me get the chat room back up. I feel like this is a better Oh no, is the camera frozen? Oh, you dick. Hold on, the camera's frozen, guys. Are you fucking kidding me? Let me see. Let me readjust this. 1 second. Let me try this again. Yeah, damn it. How do I fix this? Hold on 1 second. It's still moving there, so why is this frozen? Why is it not picking up? All right, I'm going to unplug for a moment. Come on. Oh, you know what I maybe need to do? I need to probably switch it to the rear. Switch it to the rear, as they say. Then switch it back. Switch it to the rear, then switch it back. Okay, that's a little bit better. And then... that still looks far off, though. Maybe this isn't any different than the other streaming platform. I thought it looked closer. Let's hit OK. Can you guys hear me okay? Hold on, let me make sure. Can you guys hear me? It's unfrozen now. Yeah, no, I know. Oh, toggle? Is that how it works, Priscilla? General for Laura Martin. All right, so let's do general for Laura Martin. So let's see what does Laura Martin need to know. So we've got, oh look, we've got E-I, oh, tell me there's an O in here, E-I, oh, it could be Old MacDonald. Tell me this is an O. It's an N, damn it. Shit. I was totally hoping we had Old MacDonald going on in here. So we have E-I-E-I-N-H. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 more is 9. 9s are about personal completions as a rule. So that's interesting there. Let's see, what do we got going on here? I like that you have the, like right out of the gate, the first thing that I'm going to say is I really love these two charms right here. Let me get my pointer. These two charms right here, you have the clear throat chakra right in the center, and this is very much in the present space, like conscious mind, present moment, and we have the love charm here. So I want to say, and I love that this love charm is on this clear blue. To me, this is like a certainty blue. And so when I look at this, it makes me feel like there might be a way of expressing oneself clearly right now when it's coming from this place of love that's going on for you, or an ability to maybe connect with others in a way that feels really profound and nice. To me, I like the clarity of both the blues sort of balancing each other out. They feel very much in line with each other. So expressions of love at this time for you are probably, hopefully, coming easy, or certainly they would be a focus for you right now, or something that's kind of at your doorstep in a way that you might be working on, focusing on, expressing currently. I also kind of, even though the meditated chakra body is upside down, I really like that it's sort of here and it is upright where we can see all the colors of the chakra system. What I think is interesting, this is sort of flipped upside down, and it's sort of more leaning from the coming up out of the subconscious, and also sort of from the past part of the board, or what I consider to be the past part of the board. So when I look at this, I feel like what I want to say is that work has been done. Maybe work of a spiritual nature. Hence, this is like sort of, the meditative aligning one's chakras, getting ourselves into like maybe, energetic order, or spiritual and emotional and mental kind of order, right? And we're working on that maybe a little bit more in our past, but we were working through bringing up sort of stuff from the subconscious, things that maybe didn't serve us, trying to align get our stuff sort of centered and aligned. And in doing so, I think that's what's also helped to bring us to this state of being able to express the positivity that we see here in this love charm and in this throat chakra charm. Underneath here is the key, right? And it's the old key. And underneath that, what it's attached to is the Abraham Hicks magnet, right? Which is the sort of this tree of manifestation. This always represents like the power of manifestation and our positive thoughts kind of working for us or making them work for us. When I see it like this, where it's face down like this and it's down in the subconscious, it speaks to the idea that there was a period of time, probably in the past, where you were working with these thoughts or the beliefs that you had that maybe limited you in some way, shape, or form, and worked really hard at sort of changing them. And I feel like that's the whole story that's happening between these three charms, is in essence, like when we pull up those limiting thoughts from within our subconscious and we sort of unlock the door around them, hence the key, right? We're able to open up our own energetic system and kind of tune into it, understand it better, and get to a place where we can get to a more present time space where we can communicate aspects of like certainty, love, how we feel, and not necessarily feel any sort of worry around that or fear around that. Does that make sense? So now moving forward, let me just kind of look at the rest of this. I like that we have this you betcha. This speaks to like a positive mindset moving forward and into the future. It sort of feels upbeat. Yellow sometimes feels a little bit, I don't know, not aggressive, but to me, yellow is a funny frequency color. Like it can go both ways. It can go sunshiny and happy, right? Or it can also go a little bit like agitated to me. And this to me feels sunshiny and happy. It doesn't feel like mental sort of agitation. It feels more like just an overall optimism. So I like this going on here. We have a 6 die and a 4 die. 4s on the red die. The red dice usually represent love, or sometimes they can represent frustration or anger. But to me, I feel like this might be around the idea of love. And the reason why I say that is because we have this love charm here. This would be up in the higher mind. The 6 could be about bringing in things into balance. Sometimes the 6s are numerologically a focus on the family too. And so when I look at this 6 here, I feel like there could be those that we care about. This could be not only our birth family, but also the family of our choosing might be on our mind or have been on our mind. Hence, and this is maybe a little bit in the past, there might have been some concerns around people we care about, bringing that back into balance, those relationships back into balance. And that's why we see this love charm and this clear throat chakra charm. We're like really trying to communicate those positive things and the things that we feel towards others right now. Maybe it's just due to the crazy year we've had, and also we're in the holiday season, but this is really the central focus. Up here, this feels more romantic to me, right? So I feel like there might be an opportunity, or there might be a goal or a high-minded desire of wanting to stabilize some sort of love connection. Hence the 4 would be the stability part, but the red die would be the love connection part. And the key next to that too speaks to the idea that we have this key back here, right? Which is where we were working on our limiting self-beliefs in the past, and how we sort of, are we able to really manifest with those things? And I think we've started to release them or let them go, and we're getting to this state where we're able to communicate more freely what it is we want and how we want it. So in the higher mind, it's up here like working on, okay, so now that we know what we want, how do we go about getting it? How do we go about grounding it and making it real? And the key feels like, again, we're unlocking another door, or we're unlocking another school of thought as we move forward into the future, right? So this is something that might be happening a little bit, starting to begin to really start to figure it out at this point, but it might feel a little bit like we don't quite know the way yet, because this dice to me feels a little bit high up in the higher mind, right? So we have to kind of, and when I say the higher mind, I'm speaking more like, what's the word? Like in the spirit realm, right? In our own spirit, like our own higher self. So in essence, like the visual that I'm getting as I'm looking at this dice, we need to kind of ground this and bring this down, like ground it into our more present state. But we're doing that already through communicating this, the sort of with clarity, the love that we have here. It's opening like sort of the door for this 4 to want to come in. Does that make sense? And it's also opening for that discussion to take place, and then we can bring that down, right? So let's get into some of these other charms. We have 1 tarot coin. So I'm going to flip that over. It's the 3 of Wands. It's really nice. I like that when I flipped it over, it's like the wands are heading that direction. They're definitely pointing towards the future. This is right underneath that 4, right? The red could indicate wands energy too, which would be fire or passion or spirit. And I said that this is sort of like high up here, kind of like the communication from spirit. We may not always be able to hear the message or clearly pick up on the message or know how to go about following the steps that need to be required, but we will get there, right? The doors hopefully being opened. The 3 of Wands down here is about kind of, in the 2 of Wands, the joke is as you place the order, the 3 of Wands is you are open to receiving it. With this flipped over, face down, right? It's like we're not quite there yet. We're still working on getting this to come down out of our spirit space. I hope this is making sense. It makes sense to me in my head, Laura. I hope it makes sense to you. But what I feel like is happening is here is as we ground this or get this more into our present day reality, which we're doing right now through this communication of love here in the center and this optimism that we see moving into the future, we begin to sort of acknowledge these 3 wands or this deeper desire in our subconscious, and we bring it to light. We sort of ignite these wands, and they also point us towards the future, right? So I like that. This is kind of the impetus. Down here we have the frog, and frog represents cleansing. He's in the deeper subconscious. I feel like he's flipped over, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that we're not cleansing, but I feel like there's still some stuff deep seated that needs to kind of come, not to light, but like it needs to sort of be acknowledged at some point. I don't know if now is the time. That's the reason why I feel like he's flipped over and he's sort of deep in the subconscious underneath all of this. There's something going on there. It's not bad or major. It just sort of feels like it's something that might come up later, is my feeling. And I'm going to go back to this number 9, which 9s represent personal completion. So I really feel like there's something that you may be letting go of, something that you might have done in the past, some sort of habit, some sort of thought pattern, some sort of thing. And it's not only around like platonic friendship love, but in relationships, but it's also around romantic love, because we're changing that is sort of the feeling that I'm getting with all of these charms. Even with this frog, like his body, I flipped him back over, right? But he's still got his front feet and his back legs sort of positioned so that he can head towards the future. So whatever we're working on in the now, whatever we're kind of shifting and changing in the now is setting us up for this sort of future that we haven't yet quite put into effect. That's why the frog is flipped over and the tarot coin. But when we're sort of ready, it will kick off, if that makes sense. Now, here in the future with these 3 charms, we have a Reiki charm. Let me just look and see what it is. I believe this is that? I think that's long distance healing. I can't remember, but I like that that's there and it's next to Mary. Mary to me is about embracing our kind of feminine nature, our nurturing nature, the ability to be like, our own sort of caretaker. I would say that this feels like self-care, especially this close to this healing charm. I feel like there might be, going into the future, a focus on one's own care first and foremost. But it's going to also be a good thing because of this You Betcha charm, right? Like we're in the right frame of mind and we're doing the right things for ourselves first and foremost. I think that also somehow helps this to come down and ground and become more real. And then let's see what this is. This says, you can if you think you can. And it's flipped over, which says to me, like, we're not quite there yet. And that, like, is reflected also in this frog being flipped over and the 3 of Wands being flipped over, is it says, like, whatever we're working on mentally right now, or how we think, how we feel, what we think we deserve, what we feel like we think we deserve in maybe love or in our relationships, I think we're really altering or changing through the communication that we're giving right now. And as you continue to stay in the clarity of that communication with that sort of a focus of keeping yourself kind of in line, because when I look at this chakra system meditative person, right, even though they're flipped over, I love that the chakras are up. So it says that there was this focus on getting ourselves right, or in a state of feeling more in alignment. This Mary and the Feng Shui, or not Feng Shui, sorry, Feng Shui, Reiki charm speak to this idea that the healing continues for you, right? And it's coming from the higher mind. But yes, there is this idea of romance or the possibility of that coming out of all of this, but that kind of comes after the fact, is sort of maybe where I feel that this is about. Like, we've got some time in here. So if we're searching for a significant other or the right answer around a significant other, I think that you already have started to begin to have them by communicating what it is you truly feel, but not putting any expectations on anything, and then making sure that you keep yourself first and foremost at the forefront of everything that you do. This positive outlook also moves you into the future too, and then you start to believe that, you know, if you think you can kind of thing, and it starts to, I almost want to say, like, snowball in a way. Don't reveal my inner nerd. Okay, Priscilla, I won't. What am I streaming on? OBS is what I'm trying to stream on. Because I feel like it gives a better screen for the charmings. It just shows them better. Hi, Gwen. How are you? Hey, Christine Kelly. How are you, dear? So that's kind of what I see for what's going on for you right now. I think that it's all really good, and I think that the focus is, it's almost like these two charms that I see here, this throat chakra charm and then the love charm, it feels like this focus, even though you might be outwardly hopefully expressing how you truly feel, I think that that's also sending an inward sort of vibration that's making you kind of continue to place yourself maybe first or at the forefront of what you do. And as you continue to do that, the build will be stronger, become more easy, and some of the things that you may want or desire romantically could potentially, like, show up for you in the future. That these three wands pointing to what I consider to be the future of the board speak to, like, the idea that there's a trajectory that's happening out there, whether you realize it or not. Hi, Leonie. How are you, dear? Okay, Christina Davis Buffkin gets the third reading. All right, so who was the other person? Oh my, Alana was the other person. Thank you, Alana. All right, so if you want to take a picture of this, Laura, let me know that you've taken the picture so I can clear the board and start Alana's reading. And then I'll do Christina after Alana. And Alana, I need to know what topic, like, give me a one-word topic that you want me to charm on, or if you don't have a specific topic, you can just say general, and I can charm and see what I get generally, which sometimes various things can come out of a general reading. And I can't charm, just so anybody that's watching, I can't necessarily charm somebody that's not asking me. So, like, don't, it's, like, kind of inappropriate to say, can you charm my husband? Like, I'm not allowed to read their charms, kind of thing. Does that make sense? Unless they're asking me to. It's the equivalent of looking into somebody's Bible, into somebody's diary. It's like kind of no. Bad juju, as they say. Awesome. Thank you, Laura. Alana, I do, but I don't do them. I'm studying to learn mediumship right now. So I'm not necessarily, I don't charge for mediumship readings, and I don't do them, like, publicly like this, because it's more of a private, the way that I see it right now, because I'm still learning how to do mediumship readings, like, appropriately and correctly and professionally, all of that sort of stuff. I'm careful about doing it. I don't necessarily feel comfortable about connecting people to their loved ones who are passed in a public setting, if that makes sense. I feel like it's a kind of a vulnerable space to be in for not only the person that's sitting for me, but also for me. And so I just don't do it yet. I do charmings and I do tarot card pulls and things like that. General is fine? Okay. All right, so let's see what Alana needs to know. Thank you, Okay, let's see what Alana has got going on here. All right, so we have an N, we have a U, we have an I, and we have an E. This is a total of 4. That's a newie. A newie. 4s usually, in my world, represent sort of stability, creating stability. I think of 4 legs on a table, so I always consider 4s about stabilizing something. I don't know why this feels a little bit romantic to me. It's kind of weird. I don't know why I sense a male going on here. It's funny that you got the You Betcha the same as Laura's. It came back out, and it's almost in like a very similar place. Let me look at this for 1 minute. You also got really similar symbols. You've got one of my favorite symbols, which is the heart with the angel wings, and then you've got this, which is the it's like a little diamond with wings on it too. So let me just see here. What's going on here? So we have the strength charm, or the strength coin, right? This is major arcana, and this is the sign of Leo. And this represents exactly that, like strength. Standing on one's own, taking care of oneself, making sure that, you know, your stuff is sort of, you can sort of face anything. I feel like you know that you can face anything, or at least you did know that. There feels like there's a little bit of a gap. Like, I don't know if there's a little bit of confusion or some unclarity. This empty space to me feels like we may not know where to go forward. We may not know how to move forward. I feel like there might have been, these charms here are giving me this sense of a male counterpart. I feel like the strength is you. You have the Scorpion, which was my sign for Scorpio, right? This could also be somebody that's a little bit treacherous, Alana. This might be the ex, or somebody that like maybe has given you some grief. I don't think he's necessarily around right now, but he may have been, he might still be in your mind, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like this guy, if this is representational of, say, like an ex that's a little bit volatile or a little bit maybe has been aggressive in the past, we might still have some worries about, oh, I don't want to get into something that's like that again, kind of thing. And in doing that, we have that around us. The strength, I feel like, and this is the reason why I feel like this is about a relationship, is this strength feels like this is you. To me, it feels like you. And it might have taken you a lot of strength to get out of this situation with whatever this Scorpio is, right? Whoever this Scorpio is. If you had an ex that was a little bit of a jerk or a little bit of a, you know, not maybe the nicest guy, it took strength to remove yourself from that situation, but you were able to do it, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And the other reason why I think that this is sort of a love sort of thing is, not only do we have like Leo, Scorpio, and then we have the sign for Pisces with these 2 fish kind of swimming around each other, but they have this sort of similar thing to this coin, which is from a adult theater. And if you look really closely, it is a couple having, you know, coital bliss, and it says humanitarian on top, and the woman is on top of the male. This is the sign of, I think, Aquarius. Let me just double check that. Isn't this Aquarius? Yeah, this is Aquarius. So, but it's flipped over with the sex part coming up, which says to me, this also indicates or makes me feel like there's something in the past where there was like maybe an intense love. It was off and on. It might have gone 2 different directions, like the sign for Pisces. It was probably extremely emotional connection. It was also a physical connection. That's why we have this couple. There were times where you probably felt supported by him, but then there was also times where he was probably like a little bit of a snake or not very kind. Oh, wait. So my daughter's a Scorpio, my partner's Capricorn, been with him 16 years. Okay. Well, I don't have any Capricorn energy, but that doesn't matter. Well, this could be Capricorn energy. What we have here is the Page of Pentacles. And Pentacles would indicate Capricorn or Earth energy, right? So let's just look at this for just 1 minute really quick. If this daughter is the Scorpio, then that might be the focus. But I kind of get this sense. Let me ask you this. Just give me a simple yes or no, Alana. Is there somebody from your past that you maybe haven't let go of that might have been, and I know that you've been with your partner now for 16 years, but there's not a gentleman from your past that still crosses your mind that maybe fits this story? Like, is there some sort of a significant ex prior to the one that you've been with for 16 years? Because I feel like this might be the one that you're with now that you've been with for 16 years. And even he, I feel like this being the page, it feels like he could be a little bit like, how do I want to say this? Like, yes, he's responsible. Yes, he can get things done, but sometimes it takes a little bit of energy to get him to move or to do things in the way that you would like him to do them. It's that sort of a vibe. You might have to find yourself sort of pushing him to get things done or taken care of, if that makes any sense. Maybe in the past, yeah, but not since I've been with my partner. Well, it's not necessarily about, like, because this is about the past, is what it feels like to me. But I sort of feel like if this is your now partner, I feel like we have to push him. Do you have to push your now partner? And I don't mean push in a bad way. I mean, like, you have to like maybe take the lead and get him to like move. Not that he's stubborn, but like that he doesn't necessarily take the initiative, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's true. Needs a boot up the arse to get him moving. And let me ask you this, you're not married to him? Or are you married? Because I get a feeling that these three charms here give me this idea that maybe, possibly, if you're not married to him, is that something that you want? And you might have to push him to, but you might be getting, because this says yes. And the reason why I say that is we've got the heart with wings, and I don't know why, but it feels like a union of some sort with this you betcha. Like, this feels double affirmative with this heart with wings, which says to me, if you're not married to him and maybe you wanted to get married to him, or you've thought about it and he hasn't taken action, he's maybe moved slowly on it, that might be something that you might be seeing in the future is kind of the feeling. Because this is sort of a sparse reading, and I'm trying to figure out what these charms are trying to tell you right now. Because if you've been with this guy for 16 years, and whatever this is here, this feels like this is in the past, certainly. No, you're not married. Do you want to marry him? Is it something that you desire? Just give me a yes or no, please. He's a hard worker but lazy in the house. And that's what I feel like. I feel like he's not like awful, but he's like, he needs a little bit of a push. And I feel like you might need to push him to go further with that commitment. No, not getting married, money to get in it and money to get out of it, LOL. Okay, well, if you don't want marriage, then you don't have to have it. But I kind of feel like it could happen for you. I feel like this is about a union of, like, with this heart and these wings. It's also in the future, but I also feel like the positivity of yes and you betcha could represent as you and him kind of coming together in an idea of, yeah, let's take this to the next step. Maybe the next step is something different. Maybe it's about buying a house or whatever, but it's some form of commitment that I feel like deepens your guys' relationship and brings you guys together. It's something that maybe you need or that you've desired or that you want, that you have to push him to get, is the feeling that I'm getting. It's not that he doesn't want it. It's just like he doesn't necessarily think that, you know, he may not necessarily see it as, oh, we don't need it right now. But I feel like you do, because this is down in your subconscious. And this is more in the future. So it's sort of something that you need to push for or try and achieve. And the other reason why I feel that too is because we have this strength charm here, which says to me that she's been through a lot before in the past. She's made her way through it. She's a very strong character. She's able to do it. It benefits, if this is your daughter, right? If we think that if your daughter is the Scorpio and she's the center of your sort of universe right now, because this charm is in the center of the spread, it's like, maybe it's like, I don't know, buying a house, whatever it is, this is coming in the future from the subconscious. And we may have to force him to like step up to the plate to do his part, but we will. Or he will, is the feeling that I get. So if it's not marriage that you desire, I kind of feel like, because this heart with wings speaks to this idea that whatever it is that she desires, she may very well get. She just doesn't know it yet, is kind of the visual or the feeling that I'm getting as I'm looking at these charms. And with this 4 here, which is about stability, it speaks to the idea that, you know, if it's stability through marriage, stability through the purchasing of a home, whatever it is, it brings the two of you guys closer, even more closer together than you already may be. I don't want to marry a long time ago. I did want to marry a long time ago, but since my dad passed, I couldn't bear walking down the aisle without him by my side. And I'd love to buy a house. That's my dream. Okay, so this is what I want to tell you, Alana, that your dream will come. Like, that's the feeling that I get from this. I was thinking that your dream was about this idea of marriage or something, right? He might be a little bit slow to move, but he will get there. Just trust that he will. And I feel like, you know, if you have the strength and the focus, right? If the focus is, you also have this charm too, which to me, like, we've got all these clear diamonds and these angel wings. So this says that there's a little bit of a blessing happening here too, in the midst of all of this. Like, you can make these things sort of happen, call upon your angels, call upon whatever sort of, you know, blessings you need to make this happen. But the focus is like there. The strength is there, the sort of drive. Like, I kind of get the feeling that you're the one that maybe keeps everything moving in the background, right? Like, making sure everything needs get met, whatever. Even though he might be like bringing in the money, you're making sure the bills are getting paid or that the house gets run correctly or whatever. This speaks to the idea that if that's a dream of yours, you're very well are capable of getting it. It will come sort of like, to me, where these are placed, it feels more like in the future, and you have to be sort of maybe ready for that, you know, commitment, but you both will be, is kind of the feeling that I get. Thank you, Christina, for answering that question. Yeah, guys, I try and focus on the reading that's at hand instead of answering questions of people that pop into the room, okay? It's not that I'm like not, well, I am sort of ignoring you, I guess. But I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to stay focused on what I'm doing. Well, so, and I think that everything's fine here, like in the sense that if that's what you want, and I also think that it brings this sense of stability, it brings things, you know, even further along in a very good and positive way. To me, this feels like almost, even though it's sort of like a simpler reading, it feels like you have like blessings going on around you, whether you know it or not. I don't know if you feel blessed, but if you don't, I want to tell you that you probably are, and you just need to acknowledge that, because there is like a clarity or a simplicity in these charms that I like. It's okay, Melissa. Don't worry. It's totally understandable. People do it all the time, so don't worry. You're not like breaking any rules or anything. Yeah, it's Sunday night is paid readings, guys. For paid charmings. They're $25 each. You're welcome, Alana. Thank you. Let us know how it works out. If you get a new house, send us pictures, dear. All right, Christina, do you have a topic for me? And I just want to show you this symbol that was down there between the two dice. This is the symbol. It's like a heart with two wings on it. And to me, that's the symbol that I use for my business. It's about setting your heart free and flying free, right? And so whatever that dream is, whether it's getting married or it's, buying that home, whatever that is, with those two affirmative dice here in the future coming up from the subconscious, it really speaks to the idea of whatever it is that you desire, you can actually create and have moving like in the future. So I just want to kind of convey that to you, Alana. So I don't necessarily want you to like assume that it's just about a house or whatever, but to me that charm is like, it's also one of the smallest charms in the box. So when it comes out, it's indicative of like, our heart's desire being set free. And so I kind of want to convey that to you, that whatever it is that you may desire going forward into the future, be aware that it's very possible that you can have it. You can create it. You may have to push him a little bit, but you can do it. All right. Past life for Christina. Okay, perfect. Okay, the mood ring is stuck on my finger, so I'm going to leave it out for a minute in case it plays into the reading, but it was stuck on my finger like almost the entire time that I was shuffling. I didn't know which ring it was, but it was definitely there. All right, so let's look and see what we've got going on here. We've got a T, we've got a N, we've got an E, and we've got an A. We've got a tenor. Give me a tenor. All right, again, we've got the number 4. Again, 4s are about stability. So let me look at this for one moment. I definitely feel like this life is male right out of the gate. Part of the reason why I'll start to describe why I feel like the life is male, you have the matador jacket here upside down. You also have this male figure here. I consider this to be Confucius, right? He's a male of intelligence. I don't think it actually is Confucius, but I call this the Confucius charm. I don't know why, but it makes me think of like the Asian guy Confucius. I'm trying to get like a time or place, and I'm having a hard time. I feel like I'm a middle-aged man, or like I would say maybe a slightly older than middle-aged, in my 40s. I feel like I'm a bit of an authority. I feel like people know me. I feel like I am I wouldn't say a ruler, but maybe a scholar of some sort. People adhere to me. I also feel like not only am I intelligent, but I'm also physical. That's the matador jacket. This is the third eye chakra. This is about clarity. Confucius would represent about wisdom. So when we have clarity and wisdom so close to one another, I feel like those are important kind of things. This is where I feel like I'm an authority, or why I feel like I'm like a scholar of some sort. People listen to me. People come to me for clarity. They come to me maybe for advice. I could be a teacher of some sort, but it's sort of that kind of a role that I'm playing in this lifetime. I also feel like the tree here, this tree of life, feels like in this lifetime you may have touched many people. You may have educated or grown many people, taught them sort of different paths or different ways. And then you have the Ten of Swords here, which Ten of Swords is usually indicative of, swords would be the element of air in the mind, Christina, but it would also be about sort of thought, intelligence, that sort of thing, right? And tens are about completion of a chapter, right? And when I see Confucius flipped over like this, but the clarity stone flipped up, I almost feel like, and this is going to sound a little bit weird, but with this Ten of Swords here, I feel like in this lifetime, you might have quite possibly finished something out. Like this was a significant life where you switch things over. That's the Ten of Swords too. Like something was either accomplished, achieved, it's like through your learning, through your knowledge, through the way that people maybe appreciated you, through the way that you touched others. That's also this tree, because the thing about this tree is it's speaking to the branches of where your not your education, but your teaching or your assistance for others, how that branched out into the world, how that sort of, not only did you teach, say, your immediate students, but they went on to use those teachings in their life and how they affected other lives. Does that make sense? And so the tree kept growing and growing and growing, even long after maybe you had passed or you had died, right? So let me look at these really quick. So act as if you have become the person you want to be. To get through the hardest journey and continue living, we need to take only one step at a time, but we must keep stepping. And this says Chinese proverb. Again, we have Confucius here, so it might be pulling me a little bit towards Asia. This might have been a life where you were male and Asian. Doesn't necessarily have to mean that, but when we've got Confucius and the Chinese proverb, and even though this is a Spanish matador jacket, it also is sort of brocadey, and that would also indicate Asian too. Let me just see here. We have the moon down here, which is the subconscious, represents the subconscious, usually the signs of Cancer and Pisces. It's also sitting very much down in the subconscious. And we also have the Feng Shui sign, which is not Feng Shui. I keep calling these Feng Shui tonight. The Reiki symbol, right? And Reiki is Japanese, but again, we're talking about Asian language and Asian symbols. So I get a feeling, and we have the hieroglyphs button, which is upside down, but still hieroglyphs also is Egypt, which could be assimilated similar to Asia. But again, we're talking about old world knowledge, intelligence. We see that reflected in a lot of these charms. Let me look at this here. What is this? This is that the Page of Cups. And then the frog is back out. So let me just look at this for one moment. We also have the giant butterfly, which indicates transformation, but it is face down. Oh, this could be neat also. Now that I'm looking at that too, this could spell the word neat. And neat like as in cool, or neat as in tidy. Keeping things very neat. This Page of Cups coin has got my attention. I don't know why, but the way that it's flipped over here, because with past lives, the board kind of changes. The board isn't necessarily a past, present, future, because we're looking at something in the past, right? And so it's kind of a little bit more vague. It's not as split up as the way that I normally split it up for a charming on a general reading, right? Or if it's a specific subject to a specific person that's alive right now in this lifetime asking me for a reading. I kind of get this weird feeling out when I flip over this Page of Cups. I kind of get this funny feeling that I don't know. I'm going to just run this by you, Christina, and maybe it will resonate, maybe it won't. But I kind of get a feeling that this may have been a student of yours, that I feel like this might have been somebody, and just similar like how a page would be, where it would be a younger person somebody that was very optimistic, somebody that was very much open and willing to learn, emotionally available. I believe that there was a big bond between you and this person. The coin being flipped over to me makes me feel like the passing of this person or the loss of this person. I don't think that the loss was at your hands, but I think that the loss hit you hard. That's also this 2 die here. Like, if this person was a like maybe a star pupil or a star, like a what's the word I'm looking for, like a I can't think of the word, when they're an apprentice, right? Like this was somebody that maybe you were training at some point, and for whatever reason, maybe they died or they passed away early, too early. I kind of feel like this might have left a little bit of a cloud on this. I also kind of feel like this being flipped over here is why these things are sort of flipped over. And this sort of butterfly, I don't think that you took the blame on, but I feel like maybe you didn't quite understand why you had to, like, lose this person. I don't get also a feeling that you were a very religious person. You were more of it, to me, when I look at these, it feels more like you were very analytical. You were more of a intelligence, like focus more on the intelligence of your own intelligence, or, you know, critical thinking, analytical thinking, that sort of a thing. And like, upon losing this person, this apprentice, it kind of threw everything a little bit out of whack for you. Because that's also this frog here. The frog is cleansing, right? And I think of sort of cleansing of the mind, cleansing of the soul, the heart, all of that. He's sort of in the center of this, like, maybe we weren't ever able to make sense of that loss. And I also think that this mood ring is kind of important, because I feel like this might have shifted this whole lifetime for you once this happened. Like, it changed your mood or your ability to sort of be with, you know, maybe say future students or future apprentices. Like, you were never quite the same. Like, it's almost as if the loss of this person, I mean, this could have also, it maybe isn't necessarily it would be, it's like sort of in the role of apprentice or that sort of thing, but it could have been a younger brother even. I just feel like the tie was very strong between the two of you. Doesn't necessarily mean romantic. It could be familial or like mentor-student sort of relationship, but it was strong and it ran deep. And I feel like that also sort of like flips this butterfly over. Like, it takes away sort of maybe the beauty of life, or we lost like sort of the ability to see things as clearly as we once had. I do still think, though, that whatever it was that you were teaching, or however it was that you were affecting people, that those teachings went on for like a long time beyond you, into other people's lifetimes, and affected other people beyond those people and beyond those people, and it like, and I think that, I don't know, it's sort of funny, like I kind of feel like when this person passed, you couldn't connect to that anymore. Like, maybe you lost that sort of connection to what it was that you did or how you did it. Like, you lost your connection to sort of like the flow of things in some way. Ah, you instantly felt an Asian vibe. Very cool. I kind of feel like it's Asian vibe too, because this says Chinese proverb, and then we have this Reiki stone here too. Like, to me, it's giving me Asian male vibes. It's funny because I sort of feel like, I don't know if it's not that life lost its luster, but this being flipped over, all of these being flipped over, I feel like is a byproduct of this. So, like, the way that I want to describe this, or what I'm seeing sort of in my mind's eye, is like we might have been like heralded or appreciated, respected, all of those sort of things. But when we lost that apprentice, it was sort of like none of those things really was sufficient for us anymore. If that makes sense. Like, we didn't necessarily, like, the mood ring to me feels like our mood was always never right after that. Like, we could never get back to sort of that place. That's also the message here about this kind of keep on stepping sort of idea of like, we maybe just sort of went through the what's the word? Like, the, you know, the day-to-day normalcies, like just doing things as they were, but they didn't necessarily compel us in the way that they used to. Or we didn't feel like we were as attached to them in a way or something. That's the best way I can describe it. It's kind of the feeling that I'm getting at looking at these. Also, the Ten of Wands, the Ten of Swords can indicate, like, you know, in traditional tarot, it's usually a guy laying by a river with 10 swords in his back. So it can be a sort of like a jarring experience. It is a release. It is a letting go. It is a, you know, a completing of a chapter, but it sometimes comes at a price. And so that Ten of Swords could be sort of, you know, the loss of that student or apprentice or dear, you know, if it was a younger brother, whatever it was that you cared so much about. I kind of feel like we maybe weren't able to sort of feel the same level of like appreciation that we had originally had. I hope that makes sense. If it was, your name could have been Taeyeon. Taeyeon. If it was an Asian life. And part of the reason why it's funny, like I'm telling you this story and it makes me want to ask you, like, do you find yourself in a role of teacher now, even if you're not like a teacher in real life, right? But like, are you giving advice out to your loved ones, the people you care about? Do you find yourself reluctant to want to trust them or to really get vulnerable with them, to let them in fully? That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, or like the lesson or the sort of the words that want to come out of this charming is like, okay, so in this lifetime, she had this great wealth of knowledge. She was greatly respected, and all of that sort of stuff kind of maybe slipped out the window for her when this loss took place. And so do we find ourselves maybe with some sort of byproduct from the memory of that we're not even consciously aware of, that enables us to, yes, we take on the role of teacher, but do we really open ourselves up to be vulnerable to caring about the students for fear of losing them? Does that make sense? Fascinating. Maybe it made me question whatever I was working on. I have a theoretical feeling. Yeah, and so I just sort of feel like there might be this thing. The reason why these charms have come out today and we're looking at this life is, okay, what is the message for Christina today? And it makes me sort of think, like, I mean, I'm not saying that you don't love people. Like, I think that you probably do very deeply. That's sort of the vibe that I get from these charms, is it tells me that there was this time, it wasn't even necessarily like a romantic love. It was a love of between, like, say, two brothers or a teacher and student, right? But it was this respect and this love. And it's sort of like when that person left, it was like, oh shit, do I invest that much in people? Because nothing is permanent, right? And so that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. And I'm like, okay, so where does this reflect in Christina's life now? Like, why are you showing me these charms and showing me this lifetime? What does she need to know that she might be doing in this that's a carryover from that life? And it makes me wonder, do you find yourself, first, like bestowing great tidbits of wisdom to your friends and family? Probably. I would say that's probably a yes, just judging by these charms. But is there moments where you find yourself maybe unable to fully let them in or trust or you know what I'm saying? Because we might have this unknown, like, sort of trepidation within us that stems from a past life where we lost somebody very dear to us and we don't understand why, but we not only did we lose them, but we also lost some of our, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like our own connection or our own appreciation and respect for what we have to give away. I am a teacher of my household and a loner at the same time. That's kind of like what these charms would tell me. That's interesting. And I will say this, like the clarity and intelligence in these charms and probably within you is immense. And so the question here is, or what I feel like these charms want me to question is so how do we connect those two? How do we connect ourselves back so that we can feel like, I don't know, safe again or able to love and let people in and not fear the loss of them in some way, shape, or form? It doesn't even have to be like a physical loss of, like, say, a death. It could be a loss of, like, oh, they move away, or we stop speaking, or, their lives get busy, my life gets busy, It just feels like there's like that stuff affects you. Does that make sense? Awesome, Christina. If you need to take a picture of this, please do so. Because I'm going to sign off here because I got to go sort out dinner with my host guest. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to everybody who, to Laura for purchasing those charmings for everyone. That was really sweet of her to do. If you guys are interested in getting a charming once a month, you can go to my Patreon page and sign up for the highest level of subscription. And that's why I keep talking about my Patreon subscribers coming in and getting their charming. So you get one charming a month, any Sunday. And that's one way to be guaranteed a charming every month, and you don't have to deal with the Patreon or the PayPal links and all of that. If not, I'm usually here on Sundays at some point during the day, whenever it fits within my schedule to be here to purchase charmings. I sometimes do free card pulls. I'm not not all the time, but I usually try. And I'm also looking for sitters for mediumship practice. Those readings are free and they are practice. I'm a student, so they're not going to be full-on professional, but they are. Hopefully will get better as I progress, hopefully. But that's something that I need to make clear, is that it's not a professional reading, and it's not, it's a work in progress. Let's just say that. You're welcome, Christina. Much love to you too. And that's it. So that's available to you guys. I also have a YouTube channel for those of you watching on Facebook. You can go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's a daily forecast over there for you, a reading every morning that goes on. And then the monthly horoscopes are also over there. I do tarot readings for the signs. They're broad spectrum readings for anybody to enjoy. So you have to kind of take what you need and leave the rest. But those are available to you. I can also do private readings. You can contact me at the Facebook business page, and all of that's available to you. If you have any questions, you can message me there. And thank you, Christina. And yeah, Melissa, I'm not doing free card pulls. Tonight's just charmings. It's Sunday night, so I just do charmings. So yeah, so there's that, and That's it, guys. So you know how to do it. You can always watch any of my videos over on the YouTube channel and sort out what I do, where I do it, and how I do it. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Please share the video out with whoever you think could use it. Let your friends know about me. Like and follow all the socials. And I will see you guys soon. All right. Have a great night. Take care. Bye-bye.